Since 2001, um, Trump and Bush's tax cuts have largely driven the national debt issue since 2001. The United States does not have a high spending problem, it has a low tax problem, meaning that basically the rich don't pay their fair share in taxes, but the poor people are getting hit the biggest on paying taxes more than the rich people are. Now, the Republicans' major tax cuts for corporations and the rich are overwhelmingly the drivers of our current issues over the national debt. The GOP is using it as an excuse to force through cuts to welfare and government spending, and they are not contributing nearly as much to the debt. A new report reveals. Over the past 20 years, increases in the U.S. debt ratio, or the proportion of the national debt to the economy, have largely been driven by major tax overhauls that were done by Republicans under the President George W. Bush and the former squatter Donald Trump, according to an analysis from the Center for American Progress, also known as CAP. The cuts have added $10 trillion to the national debt since the Bush tax cuts were enacted in 2001 and Trump's in 2017, the report finds. In this time, the cuts have caused more than half, 57% of the increase in the debt ratio. That proportion jumps to a whopping 90% of the stimulus packages following the Great Recession and COVID-19 recession are excluded from the analysis. Now, at the same time, spending has not only contributed nearly as significantly to the debt ratio. Now, before the Bush tax cuts were made permanent in 2012, spending was projected to not exceed revenues for 65 years. The Congressional Budget Office, also known as the CBO, estimated, but the next year the CBO found revenues were expected to fall below program spending, and the debt ratio would begin to rise indefinitely. Now, had Congress and the White House not implemented such drastic tax cuts from 2000 onward, the report author Bobby Kogan says the national debt would remain stable indefinitely. As it is, Kogan has projected that the tax cuts will go to surpass 100% of the increase in the debt ratio. Despite the rhetoric of runaway spending, projections of long-term primary spending have decreased, but projections of long-term revenues have decreased vastly. Have decreased vastly more, the report says. The United States does not have a high spending problem; it has a low tax problem. The findings are a clear demonstration of the Republican spin cycle, wherein the party cuts government revenue, creating a spending crisis. This causes the slowing of bureaucracy, as government agencies lay off workers and potentially they cut welfare benefits. The negative perception of government services is then used to justify further tax cuts and spending cuts, and the cycle continues. The ultimate result of these cuts is the funneling of money from the working class, who are still paying a disproportionate proportion of their incomes into taxes that are compared to the wealthy and corporations. This type of tactic is a major player in the current standoff over the national debt. The economists have warned that playing brinkmanship with the national debt, which officials predict will need to be raised this summer, would be disastrous for the fragile COVID economy. Now, the Republicans are doing it anyway, and they're threatening to block the debt ceiling from being raised until Democrats fold and cave to their demands while whining about the supposed irresponsibility of the national debt. These demands include proposals like cutting Social Security or considering the vast unpopularity of that plan to try to slash the less splashy cuts to other programs that would nonetheless jeopardize the health of the climate and the working class. So if they cut welfare and the food stamps and Social Security, the party that's going to affect the most would be the Republicans, because the Republicans basically they live on welfare and food stamps. So basically, the Social Security would hurt a lot of people because we pay into that money. We're entitled to that money. So once you retire, so if you work 35 years and you pay into it, you're entitled to collect that. So if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. You can go ahead and leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you want to support my work even further, for just a little, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a little as a few bucks a video or a month, your donation can help go a long way, and thanks for listening.